Alright, so in the interest of saving time, guys, what I'm going to do is put 3 tanks that I got for Holiday Ops or from Holiday Ops from the loot boxes into one video. This is going to be a really long video, but what I'm probably going to do is put chapters below. The first tank we're going to be looking at is the Chaffee 594. We will be looking at the Chaffee 594 Tier 5, ARMT Tier 5, and the GSOR 1010 Tier 8. So without further ado, let's get into this scheme with the 594, and the first thing you're going to notice if you got the Chaffee 594 is that it's slow AF, man. Like, this tank basically goes uphill like a medium or even a heavy tank, it feels like. You need to run turbo on this thing. I switched over to running bounty turbo. This was my first game in the vehicle. I didn't even load APCRs. And we ended up getting Westfield, which in my opinion is one of the best maps for light tanks, I would argue. I mean, of course you're going to have Proc and Malinovka, right? But Westfield, I really, really enjoy Westfield, and you can just see how slow this thing is. Even its traverse is not great. The gun is pretty good though, right? So the gun works well. This guy gets literally deleted off the map. We're spotting the P26 here. I don't find the view range to be lacking. Like, everything else is basically the same as the Chaffee. I went on Tanks GG and actually looked at these. I would, if I had it opened up, I would show you guys, but I went several days ago, maybe even like a week ago, I went and looked at the difference between the regular Chaffee, the Tier 5, the standard Chaffee, and the 594. And really, you're trading mobility for a better gun. The 594 has a better gun. The Chaffee is basically better at everything else, right? It has better mobility overall. And I guess the view range is actually the same, but like, to me, mobility covers a lot of things, right? It covers traverse. It covers your ability to, move your turret faster, so turret traverse as well. And mobility is just everything to me, man. Like, in a light tank, you want mobility. That's kind of one of your biggest strengths, in my opinion. And the 594 just doesn't have it. So again, between the two, if you don't feel like going on to Tanks GG to look for yourself, just know you're trading. If you're playing the Chaffee and then going to the 594, you're basically losing a lot of mobility and gaining a better gun. That's really all it is, man. The 594 has a better gun, and the standard Chaffee has better mobility. And again, to me, it just feels like the Chaffee's a better tank because I'm all about mobility, right? And it's not like the Chaffee's gun is absolute garbage. It's actually fairly accurate and decent for a Tier 5. So, I put in the chat, this is the only thing I wanted. I really only play lights, and then this is my nice Borat term that I like to say. I'm very excited, guys. If you know this show or this movie, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. But I was really excited to get the Chaffee 594 because it's the only light tank that came out in Holiday Ops, and the GSOR 1010 is probably the closest thing you're going to get. And even then, it's a medium, and it's a sniper medium, and the mobility is actually kind of garbage on it. Like, it moves pretty quick, but the traverse is terrible. And I've had a decent time playing it though. So what we're going to do here is try to adjust to this situation, right? I think we've handled the one side of the map pretty well. This SU-85 is either a bot or like lost his connection, or I don't know what's going on here, but he didn't look like a very good player, and like, this is what you expect, man. During Holiday Ops in a Tier 4-5 game, like, you're going to see this. It's just going to happen. So we're going to try and get some shots into the 220. I don't have APCRs. I have to try and, hit this guy in the turret. If he's going to give me his side plate completely, then I can go for the side, but I just don't have the pen to really hit him in the side. It's really going to have to be like turret shots. So you can see I'm trying to get like kind of on the bottom of the turret there. But again, if he's going to give me his entire side plate, I might as well try to pen there as well. But yeah, this is where we needed the APCR. So now we're in a situation where SU-85 basically has me permalit. He's like poking here. Looks like he's actually sort of playing like a decent player now. And my entire team is east. These two DW2s are like in the middle of the open. I'm not sure what they're doing, but everyone's having a good time. It's Tier 5, guys. Like, you can't really be mad at players for being average, even if they're average. Usually most players are below average in a 4-5 game. It's just like, let people have fun, man. You can start complaining once you get up to Tier 8. People should actually be decent at the game. And I can't even really pen this guy. I'm able to get kind of lucky there, but it was like a 50-50 given that we got an orange marker there, right? And yeah, I mean, the tank works well. It's just the mobility, guys, right? It's just the awful mobility. And other than that, everything else is okay about this vehicle. It's just you need to run bounty turbo. That's ultimately what I'm telling you. Run the Bounty Turbo. The gun does not need that much help. The gun is fine. It's pretty powerful for tier 5. KV-220 is able to make it all the way down to the bottom of the hill here. I'm turning, trying to get gun depression, or elevation rather, and yeah, just not working very, very well. We're able to put that one, I guess, into the very bottom of the turret. I'm still trying to get some gun elevation. It's not working so well. I need to, like, maneuver my tank better, man. Again, trying to hit the turret, we bounce. And this is what you have to do if you're not going to load APCRs, because I wasn't even really ready to play this vehicle. Like, I just got into games, and then I realized I didn't have the APCRs loaded. So it is what it is, man. We're trying to hit this guy. Hit him again in the turret there, but it's like the gun mantlet didn't pen him. And finally, at this point, we're able to eliminate this guy, or someone else's, and now we can push into the Valiant and the Panzer SFL, whatever the heck this thing is, man. So we're going to fast forward as I go and push into these guys. We'll get here. I'm poking up carefully. This is what I like to do. I like to come to this bridge. And then it's my hope that the T-28 is going to, like, push in. He's so far back, man. So we're kind of just waiting for support here. So I'm getting spotted, which isn't... It's slightly informative. It means I'm pretty certain that someone is sitting, like, right in this area. I don't think they're here. I might put, like, a blind shot here. But it's highly likely that they're sitting in this area. And I'm just trying to kind of double check that. So I shoot here, and I don't get spotted by shooting here. So now I'm almost positive that someone is sitting, like, right in this bush. That would be my guess, or like they're kind of in this bush, like behind this tree, something like that. And it's likely the Panzer, right? It's likely the Panzer. We don't know exactly where the Valiant has went. I'm assuming the Valiant's going to appear where the T-28 is right now, so I'm kind of waiting for that. And eventually we're going to push around the corner here. We're running into rocks and stuff, which is pretty standard for me. I'm a terrible light tank driver. Even with a slow light tank, such as the Chaffee 594, I can't drive, clearly. I mean, I must get this from Lemming Rush, so I just like run into everything. But we're going to go up this hill, and I'm going to show you, okay, this is 1 times. This is 1 times right now. We're going 15, 14, 13 kilometers an hour up the hill, 11, 10. And this is why this tank is kind of trash. Because when you're in a situation like this, and you're going up the hill like a heavy tank, you have no mobility to be able to get up this hill quick enough to go after the Panzer and avoid the Valiant and stuff like that. So now I just have to kind of sit here, try and kind of go behind these bushes. I'll give you my view so you can see what I'm doing here. He's taking a blind shot at me. I'm taking one to him. Again, we forgot to load APCRs. I probably would have them loaded here for the Valiant. But we're just not able to penetrate this guy in the turret. However, the T-28 is able to get some shots here because he has the proper angle. And this guy is putting the front of his tank towards me, so it gives the T-28 some pretty easy shots. So we're just going to keep advancing. We're at 1,166 damage, 1,200 spotting. It's been a phenomenal game so far, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is actually my first game in this vehicle. So this is, again, the only game I've played in this vehicle so far, so I like to try and set the bar pretty high to start, because if you start with good stats, it's a little bit easier to keep the good stats, usually, right? But we're going to poke up now. I'm really trying to see if I can at least just get one spot on the Panzer so I can get his, exact location, and it would make me more comfortable about playing the way I'm playing. So Panzer appears. We're able to put 1 into him, 2 into him. Valiant gets 1 more into me, and that's fine. But at least we've located the Panzer, and now the DW2 has more information, and the T-28 has more information, and we can kind of start pushing into these 2 guys. So now that I know exactly where the Panzer's sitting, DW2 is going to kind of go after him, and I'm going to support him. We're able to clean up the Panzer, and now it's just a matter of going after the Valiant. And we made everything work really, really well. 1382 damage, 1444 assistance. And now we just have to go in after this guy, right? Like, I'm going to get spotted, wait until I go dark here, and then we're going to rush down and go after this guy for the final kill here. Just waiting, see if the T-28 maybe will push. Kind of see what happens here. I don't want the Valiant picking me off because he has really, really good DPM. As I'm aware, I think he has good DPM. So as soon as the T-28 starts to move, I start to move. We're going after this guy. We're going to try and surround him. DW2 gets a shot in there. He's focusing the DW2. Just come around the corner, start putting shots into this guy. Looks like he has the tank 2 mark, so he must be decent at it. Track him, get the last shot there for the kill, and we get 3 kills. 1581 damage, 1577 assist, 4 spots. And there you go. There's the 594, guys. So that's the first battle that I played in the 594. And the first battle for this video was a mastery. 1581 damage, 1871 assist. And let's see what else. We were top by experience, top by damage, top by kills. Panzer played a really good game, just wasn't quite good enough. Their Chaffee 594 also did really, really well. But we're able to bring the win with this one. And then this is where I set the tank up. After this game, I kind of went with a different setup because I realized how bad the specific power is on this thing. It's 17, which is really bad, by the way. I ran Bounty Turbo, optical calibration, and then the experimental vents, or whatever this is called, bond vents, I think. So I put one of those on because I had enough bonds up here to get another one. So I moved this one. This one was on my Covenanter. I moved that one onto the 594, and then I purchased another bond vents and put that on the Covenanter. So I'll probably end up moving it around because I don't want both of my bond equipment, both pieces of my bond equipment on tier 5s. I feel like that's kind of a waste, but that's just the way I did it for now because I want to mark the 594. And that's it, guys. We'll take a quick look at the detailed report here. 125k we made because we got 80k from our mission. And there you go. So I might cut parts of this video. So let's see. Let's go into the ARMT now. So open these up. And we're going to get into the ARMT video. And again, it's very possible that I'll cut this, but if I decide not to, guys, I'm going to leave like chapters below where you can go ahead, and regardless, I'm going to leave the chapters below where you can click ahead. So I might not even cut it. I don't think it's really even going to be worth it anyway. Because if you guys can just skip ahead, you might as well just skip ahead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to leave it down in the show more, like in the details of the video description. So it'd be a lot easier for you guys to just click. Like, just if you're watching this part, just click to the ARMT. So we can I don't have to cut it, right? I think it would be better that way. Because a lot of times what happens is sometimes the YouTube because there's a YouTube what do you call it, editor. That's what I use if I just want to make these very small cuts, right? And sometimes it glitches. So when you actually edit the video, when you go to edit the video, it'll like glitch, and then it'll take like multiple days to finish, or like the video will just be ruined because it'll never reprocess. Is I think the word I'm going for. So I'd rather not make the skips if I don't have to, right? So we're going to be in the ARMT now. Oddly enough, we're on Westfield again from the same spawn. I'm going to fast forward just so I can get into position. And by the way, when I first played this vehicle, I actually thought it was a tank destroyer, which is interesting. It's actually a medium. It just doesn't look at all like a medium. It looks like a tank destroyer to me, and I thought it, behaved kind of like a tank destroyer. So we're going to go through this game, guys. We're seeing the Panzer here, T-34, AMX-13. We unfortunately don't really have the shots. And what I like about the ARMT is going to be your 3-shot burst, right? So you have a pretty long reload, but with each shot, you are getting 115 damage and 128 millimeters of pen. The APCRs are 177. At Tier 5, 177 millimeters of pen should be going through everything. You shouldn't even really have many problems with Tier 7s, honestly. Because at Tier 5, like 177 millimeters of pen, the tanks are going to be like butter, right? So I'm going to retreat. I really wanted to note this position where I'm at, guys. T-34 is staying here. We're able to get one shot into him. And we're just going to reload, but the AMX appears. I'm going to try and actually get a shot into this guy. It's very unlikely that goes in, but we take it anyway. And this position is pretty nice. Sometimes I will come here in a light tank if the south starts to lose, or east and subsequently the south, you start to lose it. From this spawn, I will come to this location. And what I'll do is knock down this tree, and then you can knock down the tree in front of it as well if you're daring enough. And then you can basically like double bush, solid bush, whatever you want to call it, and defend this area fairly easily, right? Until you get pushed. But like against the T-34 who's just poking, we have easy shots, and we can take these all day without getting spotted. So that's what I like to do. We ricochet the third one. The ARMT does have pretty bad accuracy, I will say. That's one thing. So what I find with this vehicle is I think it's best played if you poke ridgelines that are somewhat close to the enemy, like mid to long range, I would say. And you poke ridgelines because the gun elevation and gun depression is actually really good on this vehicle, especially the elevation. So you can use that to your advantage. Now, obviously, if you're poking ridgelines, it's always going to be the gun depression that you're using. But just to note, the gun elevation is also really good. So if you ever need to retreat and go downhill somewhere, you can still get shots going way up at someone, and that's not an issue. So just keep that in mind. Try and emphasize that when you play. Like, just ridge poke, because, again, when you have really good gun depression, you'll find that it's pretty easy to, like, shoot a couple shots, especially because this is a 3-round clip. Shoot a couple shots and then pull back down. The only thing that sucks about this thing is the turret. When you are using the gun depression, the turret, like, if you look at the turret, it's so, like, squared and fat. So, like, when you're trying to shoot someone and the gun is facing down, you're going to be exposing this whole, like, square portion of the turret, and it's very easy for people to pen you. That's the only thing that sucks, and I don't think the concealment is great on this vehicle either. It's not fantastic, but this thing does excel, like I said, at ridge poking. So even despite the turret not really having great armor and not being angled well or anything, it's just like a box, you know? The tank still has good gun depression, and I would urge you guys to try and ridge poke with this thing, because after all, it is a medium, right? It's a medium, and you kind of want to try and play it like that, but I mean, the GSOR 1010 is a medium too, right? And it's basically a tank destroyer. So play it how you want, but I would recommend you guys play. I'm not an expert in this tank, but that's what I recommend, right? That you just, if you got this tank, just kind of like ridge poke with it. Play somewhat defensively, because the armor is not really going to get you very far, right? And the gun doesn't have phenomenal accuracy, and it's mostly a support vehicle. Like, you can start to YOLO people once they have a couple hundred HP because you have the 3-round clip, but once you're on reload for a while. So you need to always remember that when you are, you know, getting into any game or any situation in a game. Just remember that you need to have support. Like, always make sure you have support behind you. So we're getting 3 shots into the Panzer IV-H here, and here's where the gun is really paying off, man. So we're able to do 324 damage into this guy in a matter of like 5 or 6 seconds. And then the ARMT is appearing here. We're on reload still. The downside of the ARMT, and we're able to put 1 into this guy, 2 into this guy, maybe 3 into this guy, who knows. And then he goes dark, and then the Panzer's appearing, and it's like, I'm on reload again. This is where, in a situation like this, where you would rather just have, like, one shot, right? But we're trying to make it work to the best of our ability, guys. And you're going to see I'm going to get fancy with the bushes here, try and spot these guys. Panzer gets lit here. Put 1 into him. Trying to see if I'm spotted. I'm not. So, good game mechanics stuff going on there. And we're at 1,005 damage, 353 assists. And I want to say I'm averaging like something like 1,100 damage a game in this vehicle. It's kind of a tricky tank to play at times. Not even spotted by the T-67 either. We're going to go on reload again. And I don't know, man. I just find that for some reason, this thing tends to be really quirky, because I've been in situations where I'd much rather have the DPM over the 3-round burst. And that's just kind of how I felt. It could just be the way that I play it. I'm just playing it incorrectly. But I always found myself in these situations where it was like, I always prefer the DPM, you know? So, but that's just me. We're able to get 2 into the ARMT. He was very aggressive with taking that final shot into me. He probably should have backed up sooner. But with the 3-round clip, you know, it's actually paying off there, because we have really good reload in between each shell, you know, within the clip. So that worked out well. And finally, we're going to push in, guys. They have 2 RD and an M10. Let's kind of get through this game, and then we will get into the GSOR 1010. So Same play again. You see how I play even like my mediums, just like my lights, like the same play. I'm poking, trying to see where these guys are. We're waiting for the T1. Trying to see where these guys are. I'm telling the T67 I'm ready to fire, man, if you want to go for it. I'm thinking that's the best play at this point. Trying to find out where these people are. So I'm trying to tell them, like, attention to D0. Like, I'm ready, man. Go for it. Because I think if he advances here, we should be in good shape. It's just an M10, right, and the RD, so I think we should be fine. Whereas last game we had 2 vehicles with, you know, regular guns and not ARTA, so... Whirls, you're going to break your transmission. Yeah, that's what the guy said, man. I told him it's like OCD. So we're able to hit the AMX once. Able to hit the AMX twice. Going to take a shot into the M41, but then I see the M10, and I know it's better to take a shot into the M10 rather than the Artie, and we lit him on fire, so hip hip hooray. And there you go, Artie's able to clean this boy up. It's like an OCD thing or something, I said. So I'm going to throw my tank off the edge here for the end. 1692 damage, guys. 2 kills, 884 assists, 4 spots. I think we did okay, man. And again, I'm not an expert in mediums, but this is a really quirky, weird tank. And just rich poke, man. That's what I suggest you guys do. You got the 3-round burst, but you don't really have decent DPM. You don't really have armor, but you have good gun depression. So just use these things. The accuracy is not great, but again, you have 3 shells. So just try and really play to its strengths. And good luck. Let's get into the GSOR 1010, guys. So, look at the emplates for this one real quick. 884, 1811, 6 module damage, 2 kills. Here we are, top. This is the right one, right? Just making sure, yeah. Because I think I actually had 2 videos saved on the ARMT. And I chose this one. 999 experience. We're actually top by experience. And this was actually, looks like the 17th battle I played in this thing, and over 17 battles we were holding a 71% win rate with averaging 1,081 damage, and we only got a first class. So we still have yet to get a mastery on this vehicle. I'm going to try my best, but we got the mastery right away in the Chaffee. That's all, guys. We'll take a look at the detailed report. Here you go. 23 shots fired, 17 hits, 16 pens. I think this is pretty good considering the accuracy of this vehicle. 0.36 dispersion. Aiming time isn't bad, but look at the gun depression. Right, look over here, and look at the DPM. So you're seeing weakness, average, decent, really good gun depression, you know. So just play this thing to its strengths, man. It's got good pen, too. But look at the concealment. It's kind of garbage. And it's not like a super fast tank or anything like that either. So just do your best, guys. You know, it's a medium. I mean, I can't really give you much more advice other than that because I'm not an expert in mediums, but this is also a really weird medium. So, and we'll back out of this one, guys, and we're going to get into the GSOR 1010 now. And again, I'm very, very likely to leave chapters down below. So open these emplates, and again, you guys are going to see the emplates. You're going to see this is a massive game in terms of damage. So let's get into this one, and this will be the final one, and we are at, what are we at, 23 minutes? I know this is going to be a really long video, but we're basically, keep in mind, guys, we're putting 3 videos into one video just because I'm so ahead with my videos. I might release this one, like, as an extra. It's very possible I'll release this as an extra, like tomorrow or something. It's the 12th right now, so. Because these are newer tanks, so they kind of have a schedule, like, they kind of have a limited time to get them out where they're going to get more views, right? And so I want you guys to see these 3 vehicles. And then we'll likely do a session in the GSOR 1010 as well. I did promise that when we got it, when I did my loot box opening video. So I think this is supposed to be Himmelsdorf, right? This picture. And all right, here we go. And I just played this game, actually, guys. So those other games you saw, they were quite some time ago. I just played this game today, so I'm very fresh with this particular replay. And really, all we did was snipe, like, the whole game. Our even 90 did over 5k spotting in this game. And all we did was snipe. Like, that's what this tank is really made for. It's kind of, like, got decent enough mobility where you can move around fairly quickly to relocate. And what I find with this vehicle is it's kind of like I play it similar to how I play the Kanonen Jagdpanzer 105. You know, you take a few shots, you stay in that area if you still have the shots. If you don't, you get away right away and you relocate. And you keep doing this to kind of fool the enemy. But in this game, we stayed in the like A5, B5 pocket, like almost the whole game, right? Almost the entire game. So I kind of want to go through this one at one time so I don't like annoy you guys, but like it's pretty boring, right? We're just taking shots like all game. There's really not a whole lot of strategy. GSOR 1010's looking right. The shots are in front of him though. And yeah, this is the whole game, guys. So I'm just going to go on my view. When I see a shot, I'll try and slow it down. We're just taking some blind shots here. Like, I know a lot of people don't like it when I fast forward, but in the interest of saving time, again, this is going to be a really long video. But I want you guys to see kind of where this tank is working, right? It really just plays as a tank destroyer. I find that that's the best way to play it. You just play it like a tank destroyer, and then when you have to use the mobility, but really don't use the mobility as a way of like YOLOing enemies. Use it to relocate your gun, you know? So here we have a shot at the Scorpion and stuff. We're looking for shots at the M4A1 Rev too. Trying to get the shots into the Scorpion here, and we end up seeing the guard. I'm going to go as low as I can there. It goes high anyway. We still pen the guard into the turret, it looked like. And this tank is accurate, man. You're going to see the dispersion values and stuff like that in the end plates. Going to shoot the Rev here. We're able to hit him. For your standards, guys, 360 damage, 218 millimeters a pen, 920 shell velocity, and then these have 360. It's always going to be the same, right? In terms of damage. Except like on a Su-100Y maybe, but you're getting 252 on the APCRs and you're getting 1250 shell velocity, which is actually pretty gosh darn good. We're able to hit the charioteer here. I'm not getting lit. We're going to back up, and we just had a lot of shots to take this game, guys. Honestly, like, you're not going to get a game like this on Glacier, hardly ever. It's just all the shots were there. Enemies were kind of doing stupid things. Charioteer pokes here, he's just coming running out like it's really stupid, and we're able to get a shot into him. Like, the shots were just everywhere, and sometimes you'll get these games, man. Like, I find that I get these games a lot in the Waffle Panzer. It's hit or miss, right? Like, sometimes I'll get games in the Waffle Panzer where I get like 2 shots of damage and it's over. And other times I find I'm doing like 5 or 6k damage from the back line because enemies are just pushing in and poking in all these stupid ways, and you're able to get shots, right? So I'm going to leave it on one time, so let me hydrate, man, because it's a lot of talking, right, guys? Okay, so you can see where the gun is a little trollish, right? Like, we're taking these blind shots. We had a good shot there at the Boris, and we just missed it. But then you'll get shots like this where we have to hit the lower plate of the SMV, and it goes in, right? So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's just like the way this gun is, man. And hitting the track on the Boris, and I know that this is just RNG, but I swear to you, like, when I played the Gorilla 15, that gun, I kid you not, man, it just feels like something is wrong with that gun. And sometimes you will get the same with this, and also the Kanonen Jagdpanzer. For whatever reason, man, it just feels like the shells want to go on the outside of the reticle, right? And it's not the case. It's really just an RNG thing. Like, guns don't have any of these weird values that people say they do. Like, this is just something people say, but I swear it's true sometimes, man, especially with the Gorilla 15. Like, the amount of times my entire reticle was on the tank, and it looks like the shell literally goes outside of the reticle. So, with our shot into the Borisk there before, and we just completely missed him, it went low, it was still inside the reticle, right? But you'll get that with this tank just as much as with any other vehicle. You're going to take these shots that you think are going to go in, and they just miss, man. And it's unfortunate. And the same thing happens with my Waffle Panzer, my Kanonen Jagdpanzer. Like, it happens with all these vehicles, man. The only vehicle I've found that is so accurate that you would think it's going the other way is the STRV 74. I think it's a 74, right? The tier 6, guys, the tier 6 medium, STRV 74, the really accurate one. I swear with that vehicle, man, like I never miss a shot with the STRV 74. But it's also got really, really good aiming time, right? And it's got good dispersion. So it could just be because every time I aim, I'm snapshotting people and I'm letting the tank aim all the way because it aims really fast. And with this tank, I mean, the aiming time is decent, but I don't think it's quite as fast as the STRV 74 is. But yeah, this thing is nice, man. Like when you're just trying to get to hit people from like medium to long range, man, it can be pretty fun. So Boris pokes here. I'm predicting he's going to poke. So again, that's why I'm just staying here. Like this is the best situation for a tank to be sitting here, right? Like we have a charioteer pushing in, we have a 122 pushing in, I have another shot at the 122, so I'm gonna take it. We're able to hit the backside of his tank there. Lorraine is targeting me and not surprised. And now Progetto is pushing in. We're just like right in the perfect spot to hit all these guys that are pushing in. And again, they're not pushing in the smartest manner, right? The charioteer and the Progetto are pushing in on the 7-8 line. This is not something I would be doing. I'm trying to be careful of the blind shots, but I kind of want to see if this Progetto is going to advance as well. See if we can spot the Boris poking up one more time. That's what we're doing, man. Like we're just really trying to get the jump on these guys. We try and take a shot at the Boris there. It just misses. Even 90's doing an excellent job, man. He's spotted so much this game. We'll go in 2 times, guys. Try and get through this video a little quicker because it's a little boring. Scorpion is starting to push in. I'm considering loading an HE, but I decide to go out of here, and I'm kind of leaving the T-44 behind, but I know at this point the Scorpion's going to clean him up any moment, and it's time for me to retreat and get out of here, man. So we're able to clean up the Borisk there. I thought it was an excellent shot. I thought it was kind of stupid for him to try and advance there. Maybe they just don't know where the even is. It looks like the even is taking damage. I think they would have an idea of where this guy is, but I don't know, man. Borisk thought he can advance there, and it just wasn't the case. So game is 9-10, right, where the HP is pretty close. And yeah, our even 90's been doing an excellent job, man. We're at 2 kills, guys. 34 to 87 damage visible. I think we did get 1 blind shot. I'm not certain. I'm going to slow it down here. We are sitting back in this bush on the A8, in the A8 square. M4A1 Rev comes up. Look at this shot. It just misses. And this is what I mean about the trollish gun handling, right? So you would really think that that would be a hit. I think it just went low. Gonna get a shot from Progetto here. We're able to hit that one. I should have aimed it just a little further to the left. But the shell velocity is working. You know, like if we had like Chaffee type shell velocity, like 600 something meters a second, no way that one would have went in. But we're able to make it work with this shell velocity. And again, I don't even think we've loaded any APCRs this whole game. So we've only been shooting the APs. Sorry if you guys can hear the fan. And I tell the even, don't die, man. You need to stay alive here. Stay alive. Right? Always try and get the light tank to stay alive in these games. There's still 5 minutes left, guys. Right? So we got to be really careful with what we do here. So the even is starting to come back. I think he dives into... I think he was in like C6 or something for a little while. Missing a shot on the Rev again. And now the even's going to come back. And we're just waiting. Eventually the Scorpion's going to poke up here, guys. And I'm going to show you that. I missed the shot to the Scorpion as well. This guy's taking a blind shot. We're just waiting for these guys. 3.5 minutes left. Eventually somebody's going to have to make a move, right? So go to 2 times. Even is kind of going in here. I thought about taking out of render range shots at the SMV. So here's the Scorpion. We just missed that shot, man. We had the top of his turret and it misses, and I'm like, dude, this freaking gun, man. Like when I need this gun to hit, now it's going to start missing. It was doing pretty well before, and now it's going to start missing. And with 2 minutes and 45 seconds left, I'm getting a little more daring here, seeing if maybe one of these guys will take a shot at me, and I hope it misses, but I'm trying to see if I can get like some kind of like spot on the Scorpion or Rev. And eventually we're going to push into these guys, man. And this game is really close, guys. Trust me, you're going to want to stay till the end of this game. It comes down to like the last 10 seconds. So We're going in here again. The traverse is really bad on this vehicle. I'm coming down low, coming back up high, and I'm going to sit in this bush, try and help out our even, because he's been sitting in this area for a really long time. I'm looking, I'm like, where's the Scorpion? Are these guys going to push? We have less than 2 minutes now. Like, we need to start going in. I don't play for draws, guys. I don't play for draws. So I'm going to load the HE and watch this miss on the Scorpion G, man. I swear to you guys, like, this gun was just trolling me so hard. So we get up here. Here's the Scorpion. Watch the shot. Just misses, goes high. And I'm like, gosh, man. I'm like, give me a break with this gun. But Artie got the right RNG, and Artie cleans up the Scorpion. That was our M40, M43. And now we just have to go after the Rev. This is going to be easy for me because I can just come around, snapshot this guy. I only have APCRs left, so this one should definitely be going in. Come around, snap the shot of the Rev. That's an easy shot all day, man. Into the side of a Rev, like one of the tanks you want to see to hit the side of, man. It's just very like boxy looking, so it's pretty easy to hit that. And now we just have to YOLO after the guard, so we're going to do so. Here we go. I think I've done really well, guys, to not fast forward as much as I normally do in these games. We're able to clean up the Lorraine here. Hip hip hooray. Doesn't even look like I was spotted. And now I'm almost certain the guard is going to be in like K3 or something like that. Because Even hasn't spotted him yet. So we're running in. Even stops. Goes to take the shot into the guard. He bounces. We're able to get our shot into the guard with the APCRs. Give him a nice ram, a nice hello at the end here. And that's the game, guys. Almost 5,000 damage, 430 spotting, 5 kills. We ran out of the standard APs. 8KW and 8. Wild, wild game. And here you go, guys. First class game. 46-47 damage, 8 module damage, 5 kills, high caliber. And by the way, this is how I had this thing set up. Vents in the mobility slot. The improved aiming, right, and then rammer. And then once I got high enough to get the other setup, I think I ran it with like vents, CVS, and optics as like a scouting setup. And here you go. Here's the dispersion, aiming time. Also okay gun depression, but not to the back, right? You got to be careful of the gun depression in the back. It's pretty bad. And I think maybe even a little bit to the front. I think you have the best gun depression on the side, but I know it's bad in the back. It's really weird in the back. So just be careful with that. Decent DPM. Like, the accuracy, aiming time, and DPM is all, like, maybe slightly above average or decent for a tank destroyer. I would argue the DPM is kind of bad if you're a tank destroyer, right? But this is it's supposed to be a medium. So I think everything is balanced here. I don't see a big issue with this. I mean, I think where this thing excels is it's just sniping, right? And its ability to relocate pretty quick. But the traverse is freaking god-awful on this thing. So, and there's no armor. So I don't feel like this thing is OP. Maybe you guys think it's too accurate or whatever. But I think they did okay here, balancing it. And over 17 battles so far, guys, we've averaged a 53% win rate and almost 2,100 damage, close to 2,100 damage. I don't think that's awful. Like, I did more damage in the Lynx because I play lights, right? So that's just like the way it is for me. I'm not great with these vehicles. I really just snipe with this thing. So it really just comes down to, like, are people going to be in front of me? And are they easy tanks to pen? And will I shoot the gun accurately? Like, can I aim well? You know, that's what it is for me when I play these vehicles. Same thing with the Cannon and Jagdpanzer. I'm not great at playing these vehicles. They do relocate well, but there's players that are much better than me at playing these fast type of tank destroyers. Again, it's a medium, but it's basically a tank destroyer on wheels, right? And that's all. Let's take a look at these last 2 amplates, and I'll let you guys go. I did highlight my stats over here. I wanted to highlight the even, but I think I selected myself by accident. But our even did do like over 5,000 spotting, guys. And it was really good. So I don't have the enemy team, unfortunately. But yeah, we did 430 assists. So we actually had over 5,000 combined in this game, which is ridiculous, man. We're top by experience, top by damage, and this was the best game that I've played in it so far. So I wanted to feature it for you guys and just show you what this tank is capable of doing. So again, Even played a great game, over 5,000 spotting, and look at his experience, man. So don't always get caught up on damage, guys. Like, sometimes spotting is going to pay off. Sometimes, right? When Religion of Rage did the video on the ELC, and he said there's a pyramid, and at the top of the pyramid is damage, and below that is spotting damage, that is like the best way to look at playing a light tank. Do you guys understand this? Maybe not on Prokhorovka and Mali and Westfield and some of these maps, but for pretty much every map in the game, if there's a pyramid, right, and below it is whatever, but top is damage, just below it is spotting damage. That's how I want you guys to look at it. Your most important thing should be doing damage or enabling your allies to do the damage for you. But the problem is when you're in these random battles, oftentimes you can't rely on people, you know, boo-hoo, so you end up doing the damage yourself, right? And that's just what you'll find. Like, the more damage I do in a game, usually we're more likely to win the game, right? And you can see that with a tank like the Lynx. Like, look at all my win rates down here, right? With all these vehicles, I know you can kind of can't see the T92. But my best win rate, ignoring the Bulldog, because I only have 8 battles in this, 107 battles in the Lynx. Look at my damage in the Lynx compared to other vehicles, and look at the win rate. So it kind of just speaks for itself if you play enough games, but there are those games where you get on, like, Prokhorovka, right? You don't want to be sitting way in the back, right? Just trying to snipe or something. So it's not like a one rule fits all type of thing, but it's as close as you're going to get. Emphasize damage first, then do your spotting damage, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to go in that order. You might find that it's easier to do some spotting damage first, but you still want to emphasize damage the most within your game. So if you're in a situation where you're poking up and you got a couple people behind you and no one's taking that shot, take the shot and pull back down, man. Do the damage yourself. Other people aren't going to do it for you, right? So that's it, guys. I know this video has been really, really long, but again, if I don't cut it, I'll leave chapters, skip ahead. We did the Chaffee 594 first, we did the ARMT second, and we did the GSOR 1010 last year for you guys. I hope you enjoyed them all. I actually really enjoy playing the GSOR 1010. I'm going to try and 3-mark the Chaffee 594 and then 2-mark these other 2 vehicles. And hope you guys, if you got them, I hope you are enjoying them as well, and happy holidays to you all. See you for the next one. Bye-bye now.